we both have a passion to raise top scientists, and by God's grace, we're going to solve the drinking water problem in Africa. By God's grace, we're hoping to solve that practical need. One more thing before I hand it over to Dr. Colin. Part of this program is focused on raising innovators. Africa and the world needs innovators, but right now, Africa needs innovators to solve practical everyday problems. And so my hope and aspiration is that the STEM clubs in Nigeria and all across Africa can be able to work on projects collaboratively so that we can solve problems for the whole continent by God's grace. So thank you so much, Dr. Colin Gann. We look forward to learning a lot from you. I will turn off my video for a second and make sure everybody else can log on, but I'll let you go ahead and start, please.
Okay. Yeah, I will start now. Thank you for the kind introduction. I've started screen sharing. I just want to make sure everybody can see the screen. Yeah, it's called Standing on the Shoulders of Giants, and it's talking about clean water and its innovations. So if there's anybody who cannot see my screen, please let me know. Yeah, anyone?
We can see it.
We can see it.
Perfect. Do you want to make it a full
other
screen?
Participants that are online or coming in from YouTube, if there's any complaint, cannot see my screen, please let me know before I go further. Yeah. So if there is no like concerns, I will start. Okay. So today we'll talk about clean water and its innovations. Yeah. So besides what Amos has introduced, I'm also one of the co-founder like Amos on the Blaise Pascal Institute of Excellence for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And our mission and objective, our mission and vision is to produce the next generation of top scientists and entrepreneurs in the world. We want to produce people like Albert Einstein. We want to produce people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and so forth. I also happen to take on the role of Chief Technology Officer of Life LLC. Okay, with that, I'll go to the next page. Yeah. First of all, we want to talk about what is clean water. People talk about clean water everywhere, but what exactly is clean water? So the clean water, according to the United States Geological Survey, they define the water as is free from harmful contaminants, pollutants, and microorganisms. It is safe for its intended use, which can range for drinking purpose to food preparation and to support aquatic ecosystems as well as recreation. This is the basic definition. Of course, there's no single university agree upon definition. So this concept actually refers to water meeting specific quality standards that protect human health and the environment. Okay. If you have no question, I will move on to the next. Yeah. Next. So of course, after we talk about clean water, we also want to know which countries in the world do have clean water and which countries in the world have limited access to clean water. Of course, Singapore has clean water because we have rigorous testing and advanced treatment for water. Finland also has clean water because they have abundant clean sources like advanced technology and comprehensive monitoring of their water resources. Of course, New Zealand has got pristine natural resources and effective management of water. And last but not least, we have countries like Switzerland and Germany. They have strict regulations and advanced purification systems for water. Okay, so the next one. Yeah. Yeah. Recently, there was a survey, right? Maybe 1 year ago or so, there's a survey done by Yale University, and they found out that Singapore is the best in providing clean water. It's ranked #1 in the world with a score of 99.9. So we are top on the list. We were not like this 10 years ago. I look at the score, we were not at the top. Over the years, right, we've made progress and make improvements so that we get better and better. So we have countries like Italy, also we have United Kingdom, Switzerland, Germany, Norway, Montenegro, Sweden, United States, and Finland. So if you notice, right, almost all these countries are from developed countries. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So why is Singapore #1 in the world in providing clean, safe, and clean drinking water out of 180 countries? Yeah, it's because of our sanitation and water standards. We have universal access to safe sanitation. We are also a global leader in treatment and reuse of wastewater. I will share more how we do the treatment and reuse of wastewater. And Singapore government is very intentional in integrating wastewater reuse, right, into our social economic development and water security. Yeah, because in case you do not know, Singapore, we have limited access to the we have very limited access to the water we have produced. We have a limited amount of water we can produce. We are a very small country. So if we need more water, right, actually we buy from Malaysia. So over the years, the cost has gone up. And if our good friend, our neighbor Malaysia decides tonight, right, to cut the water supply, definitely Singaporeans is going to suffer. So this has always been in our government checklist to make sure we are self-sufficient in water. We do not want to be threatened by anybody should we need water. Yeah, that's why we develop our water technology, and we are able to reuse wastewater. Okay, I will explain how we do that as in the further slides. Okay. Yeah. So how do we get to the ranking of the top in the world? Yeah, in the ranking, they look at each country's water and sanitation. Then after that, they have a score using a formula by calculating the loss of 1 year of full health, which they call disability adjusted life years. This is adjusted for age according to the World Health Organization. So if you have a score of 100, it means the country has the lowest loss of health in the country. And if you are at the lowest range, like you get 0, it means your country has the highest loss of health in the country. Okay, so we move on to the next one. Okay, Singapore's National Water Agency, which is called the Public Utility Board, actually pioneered the automation of drinking water monitoring and early warning systems. With that, right, we can track the usage of water and the production of water very well. So we also benefit from a robust monitoring system to test the drinking water for potential chemical, microbiological, and radiological contaminants. This is especially step up during COVID-19 pandemic in Singapore. They were able to use like wastewater testing to discover the presence of the virus in our population also. Next. Now, just now I was saying there are some countries with limited access to clean water. One of them is Niger. Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce that country's name.
Niger.
Niger. Yeah, so it's 12.2. You can see that the score is not so good because significant percentage of the population lacks basic water services. And of course, we have country like Chad, which is 4.3, also not very good. Because of that, they have highest loss of health from water and sanitation issues. And Yemen, it has extreme water scarcity because of conflict and climate change. So half the population does not have access to clean water. And of course, Haiti, it lacks basic water access because, and due to the ongoing crisis in political crisis, as well as the conflict and the mafia in the country currently, right, it worsens the problem. So these are some countries. Of course, there are many more. I just share with you some of the countries. Yeah. Okay. Next. Yeah. Now we'll talk about how clean water is produced, because just now I spoke about clean water. Now we need to know how to produce it. Okay. Basically, clean water is produced through different processes, especially purification. To get clean water, of course, you cannot escape from purification. You need to perform processes like sedimentation, filtration, disinfection, sometimes reverse osmosis, so that you can remove contaminants from sources such as rivers, lakes, and groundwater. Okay, using such methods will eliminate dirt, sediment, harmful chemicals, and microorganisms to make water safe for drinking and other uses. So you can imagine, right, you can look at the picture I have here. We have water coming, sorry. So you have water coming into the pump, okay? Then you have a screen that filters the water. Then you have this coarse filter, yeah. Then after that, you go to the sedimentation tank and so forth. Okay, I'm not an expert in clean water production. I can only share with you the basic idea. So if you have more interest, right, we should talk to the engineers, the chemical engineers who will be sharing next time in our series, hopefully. Yeah. Okay. Then 10. And I was about to share, I'm supposed to share with you, right? Who are the people doing groundbreaking work in clean water production? There are a few groups of people in the world working on that. One of them is from the University of South Australia, a group of researchers led by this professor called Hao-Lan Shi. He actually invented a novel way to make seawater evaporate faster than fresh water. With that, it can increase clean water production in desalination plants. As you know, right, seawater has a very high content of salt. If you are going to make fresh water out of seawater, you have no choice but to invent some kind of process such that you can suck out the salt, and remove it as fast as you can, so that it's scalable and it's cheap for you to produce fresh water. Because making fresh water is not a cheap process, okay? So that you can increase clean water production in desalination plants. He also came up with this idea of using hydrogel evaporator infused with very low-cost clay minerals. So that leads to an 18.8% increase in seawater evaporation rates compared to pure water. That's part of where the innovation comes in. Okay. Yes, then there are a few more innovators from Singapore. Actually, we have a home-based innovator. They are called Water Roam. It's a Singapore-based organization. They have created a portable water filtration solution. They call it the Roam Filter Plus. What is so interesting and cost-effective about their method is this device, right, is very compact and is lightweight. And you can convert unsafe water into safe drinking water in minutes. It's especially useful for rural and disaster hit areas. As you know, these days, the whole world is very uncertain. There are more disasters and now so than ever because of climate changes. And that's where their Roam Filter Plus comes into very good use. Okay. Okay, the next slide. Just now I was telling you that Singapore, we have the ability to recycle water from wastewater and put it to good use. We call it new water. New water. Yeah, it's a very high-grade kind of recycled water. We produce it in Singapore by treating the water with advanced technology like membrane filtration, and using UV disinfection to make it ultra clean and safe for consumption. Yeah, But having said that, actually, we don't really consume this water in Singapore. We have the supply should we need it. This new water is actually produced specifically for the semiconductor and the pharmaceutical industry. They actually pay for this new water. Why? Because in the semiconductor industry, when they produce those wafer and chips, right, they need super clean water. Yeah, so that the chip is not contaminated. And of course, for pharmaceutical industry, they need it to produce drugs. The water has to be super clean. Yeah, things like this. So this is a weather resilient water resource, especially used in, as I told you, for pharmaceutical as well as semiconductor industry. It's also for aircon cooling, drinking purpose, and most important of all, to strengthen Singapore's water security, because water is a form of security. As you know, traditionally, right? I mean, if you know, right, in Israel, you know, they have a lot of wars. They fought a lot of wars with their neighbors. Sometimes they can go to war because of water issues. Yeah. Okay. So 13. Okay, now this is very novel. Actually, I learned of this through the Nobel Chemistry Prize of the year 2025. Okay, there is a technology invented by Professor Omar Yagi. He is the founder of reticular chemistry and one of the most cited chemists in the world. Okay, he came out with the technique of what we call atmospheric water harvesting. It means you can harvest water from the atmosphere, even in very dry, low humidity regions like the deserts. Professor Yagi has invented this technology. So since 2012, he has been the James Nelger Tretter Chair Professor of Chemistry at the University of California, Berkeley. He's the founding director of Berkeley Global Science Institute and the co-director of Kefli Energy Nanosciences Institute, and so forth. Okay. He was awarded for the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for year 2025 because of his development of what they call meta-organic frameworks, porous materials that have revolutionized chemistry. And because of this, right, he's able to harvest water from the atmosphere, including the desert. And he actually started a company called Atoko to commercialize his technology. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, wait, the last one. These are some of the references I use. So if you want to know more about water Rome Filter Plus, what Otoko does, and what is new water from Singapore, and so forth, you can consult these references. Other than that, I finished my short presentation. If you have any questions, answers, you know, clarification or objections, as Amos always put in, I think it's good.
Thank you so much, Dr. Colin Gunn. At some point here in a few minutes, I'm going to introduce you to one of my friends who is a water engineer, because you mentioned, or he's a civil engineer and a chemical engineer, but you mentioned about the engineers. So Dr. Colin Gunn, my goal is simple. If Elon Musk can go to Mars and set up a station and have people there, we are going to get clean drinking water for every African child in the next 7 years, by God's grace. That is the goal. It doesn't matter where they live. It is, I can't imagine that Elon and Jeff are going to space and we can't fix our water. So that is my passion, is that every child gets drinking water. So with that said, have you looked at all at what Elon is planning to do for water supply in Mars?
No, I didn't. I didn't hear. As far as I know, I've never heard him say anything about water supply in Mars. All I know is he wants to get people to Mars. He's afraid that one day the whole Earth will collapse. You know, there'll be no life on Earth. That's all. He didn't talk much about water supply in Mars. Not that I know of. Yeah.
No problem. Any questions for Dr. Colin Gunn? I see that there's more participants now. Please feel free to chat. Put it in the chat if you have any questions or you can ask too, Dr. Baka, if you want to just ask, and then I'll have my friend from Ghana who will share his question. But I'll have us talk more after the call, because I know my friend from Ghana loves talking about water, so he could talk about water all day. Any questions for Dr. Colleen Gan?
Yeah. So are you hearing me?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Daniel.
Yeah, I just want to find out whether this lecture will be made available for the participants.
Yes, it will.
Okay, please do, because there's definitely a lot of miscommunication in Nigeria. If I didn't get the information from you, I wouldn't have been able to access it at all. So if you get this to YouTube, it will enable us to advertise it in Nigeria.
Yes, we'll do that, sir.
Mm.
And Dr. Baka, let me actually connect this to the STEM clubs. And Colleen, I'll share this with you as well. So basically, Dr. Colleen, what we are doing is we have STEM clubs. Giva does STEM clubs. Maybe, Dr. Baka, do you want to share a little bit about what you do with STEM clubs?
Yeah, I mean, the dream came up some time ago, recognizing that the only people that can really power this particular STEM club in Nigeria are the young people in secondary schools. So we have been able to design and try to pilot, study them in order to be able to form the clubs in the various parts of the country to identify young people who will be interested and be made to be inspired in carrying out innovation.
So,
hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, Daddy. Go ahead.
Okay. So, right now we have been we have the certification sort of approval to carry it out in Abuja, and we are pursuing that of JOS, and we hope that it will now with this particular registration approval, we'll be able to really scale it to other parts of the country and establish this STEM club in order to carry out some of these researches. In fact, the lecture today will be quite an interesting one for Nigerian young people.
Thank you so much, Adi. So the way I look at it is, and I'm going to give you an update on how they plan to get water to Mars. I was listening to Jeff Bezos yesterday, and he said that they are planning to create systems that when you go to the moon, when they go to the moon, they can drill from the moon surface and use materials from the moon to power some of their systems on the moon. I mean, he's thinking about the moon to do that. And I said, we have to all start thinking about solving some practical problems here as well. I don't plan to go to Mars or the moon, but I'm just saying there's some lessons to be learned. So Dr. Obaka's work in Giva and our work at Life and Sparklen, Dr. Colleen Gan, we're planning to see how we can come together and really help with a robust STEM program. I think collaboration is key. So how can our students in Nigeria connect with some of your people in Singapore, Dr. Colleen, the one you talked about with the company that does some of the work? How can we begin to think about collaboration between our STEM clubs and the Singapore ecosystem? Do you think there's some ways that come to mind?
Yeah, I think for that Singapore company, right, Rome, doing the portable water filter, I think it's possible to arrange something like internships, for students coming from different parts of the world.
Very good.
And they can co-develop and co-invent new products and water filters together. I'm sure if such products can be used in as they already said, is they want to use it in disaster and rural areas. So I think, right, I think Africa fits the criteria very well, especially rural areas. Of course, yeah, we do not want to see many disasters in the world. But I'm sure Africa will be a very good test bed for them. There's so many countries in Africa, they can test their products. I think they'll be more than happy. But we got to write into them and go through the proper channel.
No problem. Yeah, we are going to collaborate and write a letter because we definitely are very interested. And maybe we'll ask Singapore Airlines to give us a few seats to jump on from to join them.
Oh, I'm not sure Singapore Airlines, the full paying airlines. Maybe the budget airlines may give you a few seats, yes, but not the full service airlines. Is very expensive. Yeah,
No
Singapore
problem.
Airlines has got budget airlines, in case you didn't know. The budget airlines for Singapore Airlines is actually Scoot, SCOOT. So if they fly to different parts in the world, maybe they fly to Africa too. I have no clue. They do fly to Japan, I know that. So you can see if the Scoot is willing to work with us, yeah, then by all means, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the era of collaboration and dreaming big. So I'm not afraid to ask anybody. You know, there's a true story. After I'll tell you this story, I'll hand it over to Mr. Samuel to give his thoughts. There's a true story of somebody who wanted to make a movie and they needed to use military like submarines or like big planes or like fighter jets. And they asked the US Navy and they said the worst thing that will happen is they'll say no. The US Navy said yes, because they were trying to recruit more people into the Navy, so they thought the movie would help. How crazy is that? If somebody can go ask the US Navy, can we borrow your planes for a movie? And the Navy says, actually, we're trying to recruit more people into the Navy Academy. Here you go. You can use it. That is crazy. So in life, I think we need to be willing to ask. So I'm going to ask British Airways as well as Singapore, the Scoot airline, to see how we can take students from Nigeria to England and then from England to Singapore. And the idea is that we want to see what you're doing there. One last thing before I hand it to Mr. Samuel. My bachelor's degree was in chemistry, Dr. Colin. And in chemistry, before I came to America, I learned about filtration. I learned about all these things you're saying, Dr. Colin, but I never used it. I was one of the best in chemistry, but I never used it to solve practical problems. I never even thought, when I was in school, I never made the connection between what you're learning here, Amos, can solve your drinking water problem in the dorms, because I was in boarding school. Can you believe that? I never connected the two. I believe we need to start connecting our chemistry and our STEM clubs and real solutions. There's a country, Switzerland. They are one of the best in innovation in the world. And the reason they're one of the best is because their industry, research, and businesses come together, and academia. They are all in one ecosystem. So, Dr. Colin, I really believe with the AI tools and everything and collaboration, it is possible to move the water index up. I saw the score for some of the countries in Africa, 5 out of 100. We need that to go up to 95 as soon as possible. So I don't know if you have any remarks from that before Mr. Samuel will tell us a little bit for a couple of minutes anything he wants to say about some of what you've shared. He's his background is in water engineering.
Yeah, because I did propose to Amos, I did tell him, because of the era, the advent of AI, education has changed. No longer is it about rote learning or just taking exam and passing exam for its exam sake, It's about mastery of a subject and application, application of what you know. So it means learning can occur anywhere, anytime in the world, actually. So let's say Africa, it's very good in certain area, like in technology or what. You want to get students to go there to learn as much as they can from them and apply their knowledge directly. If America, like now we know that Omar Yagi is the father of reticular chemistry, and he invented what we call matter-organic framework. I think if our students really want to understand this very well, they should go to his class. They don't attend secondary school or primary school, because the teachers there will not be able to teach those students at all, simply do not have the expertise and the passion to teach them. So we'll go straight to the source, and that's how you are able to inspire and produce the next generation of Nobel Prize winners. That's where it comes from. Yeah. And if you have very good entrepreneurs, people like Jeff Bezos, hopefully we want to go and learn from him directly if he's willing to teach, things. Yeah, things like that. We got to change the mindset of education. Yeah.
So Samuel, before you go, and thank you, Dr. Colin. Samuel, before you go on, Dr. Colin Ghana, look at what they said about Elon Musk and Mars for water. They said the plan for water on Mars involves using local resources on Mars to try to get water. So we're not going to ship the water from Mars. Again, I'm not going to Mars, but I'm just telling everyone on this call, if there's somebody who's thinking about how to get water on another planet, just think about that. That tells us we can solve our problems on this planet. Dr. Baka, go ahead. I don't know if you want to share more on that, but that's some of what I've read.
Yeah, I mean, the greatest thing that we have actually for this generation is a change of mind. I mean, a change of mindset that anything is possible as long as you are dedicated and inspired to know that anything that we want to do is possible on this side. So and that is why I want to say thank you very much, Dr. Colin, for the possibility of having an integrated collaboration going forward. We can no longer be isolated. We have to collaborate and bring our ideas together to solve a lot of human problems that are evolving all over the world.
Thank you so much, Dr. Baka. And do you know one of the reasons I chose water treatment for this theme is because guess what? Of all the infrastructural problems, water and healthcare are the most foundational. If you don't have good health and water, how are you going to solve other problems? So we are hoping to solve water, healthcare, electricity, and other systems that need to be solved. But let's start with water, because dirty water and bad water causes diseases. Mr. Samuel, let's give you a couple of minutes since you work in water and your work is in chemical engineering and water treatment. Please feel free to share from what you've seen on the slides or anything else you would like to share. So this is being live streamed and recorded though, so just feel free to share briefly. And then Mr. Samuel is our guest in a couple of weeks, and that's all we're going to talk about is water and like some of the research in water more. So Dr. Colin, thanks for kicking us off. Samuel, feel free to share, please.
Okay, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, Dr. Colin. I'm so pleased to have this opportunity to meet you. And then Mr. Obaka, I'm also very pleased to meet with you and everybody.
Thank you very much, Samuel.
Yeah, thank you all so much. And my brother, Mr. Amos, too, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I really appreciate this. So, Dr. Colin, I've learned a lot from what you shared, and most of the the people you talked about and the new innovations that are coming up are things that I have actually also been exposed to, because I'm very passionate about water treatment and water technologies and all of that. I actually saw the video of, the professor who invented the ability to extract water directly from the atmosphere. He had a system that he has developed that does that, and it's a very innovative thing. And being a water passionate person, I realized that there are some key problems when it comes to water. And just as we have a circular economy model for making sure that, whatsoever thing we do in society, there is some level of circularity to it so that there isn't any, issues afterwards. I did some very comprehensive research, and then I realized that water problems start from a point and it also ends somewhere. And there is the need for us to tackle water in that complete cycle. Without tackling water in that complete cycle, we are still always going to have water crisis. And what is this problem that I'm trying to bring your attention to? Now, usually, before water gets to the water treatment plant that is treated, now what happens is that these water bodies or the water bodies get contaminated to a point that is beyond the treatment capacity of these water treatment facilities. So if you've noticed, back in Ghana right now, I'm originally from Ghana, but I'm currently located in Calgary in Canada. And if you look at what is happening in Ghana due to illegal mining that is happening, our water treatment facilities are not able to treat the water to the quality that is, desired for human consumption. And so what is happening is that because their systems are already pre-designed to treat water at a particular, quality level, However, the water quality that they are receiving is beyond what their system has been built for. So they are not able to treat it so well. So because of that, when they treat the water and then the water leaves their system and it goes out, the water is still not safe for human consumption. And so when you see some videos that come in from Ghana and all of that, you see people turning their taps and then the tap water is running brown, is running with a lot of contamination in it and all of that. Now, this gives the indication that to solve water problem in its completion, we have to make sure that we actually do an in-treatment process so that the water that goes to the treatment facility meets the standards that is easy or effective for the water treatment facility to treat well. And then also when the water leaves the treatment facility, there is also something that is called the post-water treatment contamination. Water, no matter what you do, it gets contaminated as it is traveling through the distribution lines to get to the consumers or the users. And so the other aspect of technology that has not really been explored, which I have, developed products for these problems, is the making a decentralized water treatment system that can be used, at the homes. So instead of having this big mindset of having a centralized water treatment system, now we are decentralizing the water treatment system to our homes, our very homes, such that water that gets contaminated through distribution through the pipelines also comes to our homes, and then they are further treated before we use it. In so doing, we are able to, make sure that we have a very quality, standard water for human consumption and other applications. In so doing, we are able to, make sure that water is safe and that our health is also not compromised. And so these are some of the technologies that I have actually developed, and I'm looking forward to, implement all of these technologies. Hello?
Yeah, sorry. No problem. Okay, sorry about that. I think the audio mixed up there. So Mr. Samuel, wow, thank you for that. I'm going to say though, here's everybody on the call, those watching online. We're going to continue this conversation with Mr. Samuel in detail, as much detail as we can give. But here's my key encouragement as we land and take any final thoughts before we close. We will solve, by God's grace, the water problem in Africa. I didn't say we might, we will. And here's why. Those who are planning to go to space have created systems that they're working on that will give them water in space. We are on Earth. We can do it. And it starts with the mindset of we can do it. And here's the other interesting thing. Because of AI research tools and advanced mathematical concepts, we can actually calculate how much exactly of water do we actually need right now. We can actually do the math. I can tell you exactly how much water we need to make it possible for every child in Africa to have water. Now we do the mathematics of, okay, what do we need to do to get there? Do you see what I'm saying? We know what we need. Let's now work it backwards. Now, I understand the issue of conflict and so on, but that's where there's water systems to deal with in disaster areas. You can deploy a solution. And Mr. Samuel and I will be back and we'll talk a lot more about that as well. And then as Dr. Colleen Gant said, in Singapore, which is ranked, I didn't know they were #1 for clean water, but they're ranked #1. And therefore now we need to go and see, okay, let's learn some lessons there. And then let's go back, get clean water in Africa, in India, in Southeast Asia, in South America. We'll get it all over, but let's start with Africa and get it perfect. So I look forward to building systems and STEM clubs. This is my encouragement to STEM clubs and STEM teachers. If you build a prototype, and Mr. Samuel is our professional on duty. You send it to Mr. Samuel to vet some of the ideas. If you can build prototypes that work, we will be more than happy to share it with people. And guess what? That is an opportunity then for you to potentially meet people that will fund that project and take it to the next level. But imagine if we start doing STEM club competitions all around this topic. And we have somebody that maybe comes from Dr. Obaka State, Kogi State, somebody from Kogi State ends up bringing something that solves that problem. Can you imagine that? That is what we need to be looking forward to. We will solve the problem by God's grace. And we need to remove any idea that our current state will hinder our future progress. By the way, let me say one last thing about Singapore. Dr. Colin Gan is from Singapore, but how many of us know that about 80 years ago, Singapore was nothing like it is today? Nothing like that. But they've been transformed as a nation to become one of the most advanced in the world. How did that happen? Dr. Colin, we need you to tell us that story in November because we need to know what changed for Singapore. So, any final thoughts, comments, objections, Dr. Barker before and Dr. Colin before we close, or anyone else?
I'm glad that Samuel, we are discussing this in today, and Samuel came up to give us this brilliant idea. This decentralized water treatment system is one of the basic things that we need in our own environment today. So we have to link up and make sure that we have to strengthen this collaboration in order to be able to become a problem solver globally.
Thank you so much. Well, I know our time is fast spent. I'm sorry, we've gone past that time, but please stay tuned. We're coming back same time, same station next week. We have Dr. Charles Obi. He will be talking to us more about, he's from the entrepreneurship space and he will give us more insights. The future of education is going to innovators and entrepreneurs, people that can solve problems, take bold steps. And by God's grace, Life, Sparkland, Giver, and other partners that we'll be talking with, CTGI, which is Cybersecurity International, Group International, we will be working together. So everybody stay tuned. For now, please make sure you are drinking clean water because water ultimately is the core for healthy living. Have a blessed day, everyone. Sorry, Dr. Colin was having audio issues. Dr. Colin, are you back?
I think he has
Yes.
audio.
Yes, I'm back.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
good.
No problem. Dr. Colin, thank you so much. We'll go talk to British Airways. So stay tuned. We're coming to Singapore.
We're coming to Singapore.
Okay.
Yes,
Come to Singapore to learn how we use and treat water. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
we're coming. Well, take care. God bless everyone. We'll talk soon.
Yes. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.